Okay. Hello, everybody. Let's get my music out of here. Happy Friday morning. We have got another phenomenal episode of the Marketing Wizards Inner Circle Friday morning Q&A. I am so excited to be here with you guys today. It is November the 3rd, 2023. We are we just passed the 1/3 mark through quarter four of the incredible 2023 year. I hope it's been an amazing year for you. I know that we're having a ton of fun here at Time Marketing Consulting, and even at our brick and mortar store, just about pets, you guys. It's been an absolute blast. And I have to tell you right now, jumping on here live, say hello if you're joining me live. Hey, everybody. We have some phenomenal ground to cover, but I have to start off by telling you that it is good to be a Vancouver Canucks fan right now. I know that might seem like an odd thing to start with, but my gosh, is it good to be a Vancouver Canucks fan right now. Any Canucks fans out there in my live audience as we speak? Anybody give me a thumbs up right now if you are watching this live and you are a Vancouver Canucks fan, because it feels good. It feels good to be a Vancouver Canucks fan right now, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Hello. Yes, sure is. Thank you. If you have to give my software here permission to show your name, or else let me know what your name is in the inbox. Hey, Lisa, great Friday. Hello. Penguins fan. Oh my gosh, who the heck is a Penguins fan? Penguins fan. Yeah, well, we'll see how you do with Mr. Eric Carlson there. He's pretty good. See if we can add it to Sid the Kid and Mr. Malkin and Latang. See what they can pull off there. Hello, everybody. Yes, it is a beautiful, great Friday. Thank you, Lisa. We have some really good questions today, you guys. So I am going to jump into. Hello, Albert. Hello, my friend. We are going to jump in, you guys, onto some really good questions about your marketing. So, really good questions about not just what and how to today, but we're going to talk about the thing that marketing is supposed to do, which is make you some money. So we're going to talk about money today a little bit. We got some great questions. If you have any questions, or if you want further clarity, or you want me to go deeper on a subject that I'm talking about today, then just put the comment into, or just put it in the chat. Okay, it'll pop up here for me. So when you do that, I'll be able to see what that question is, and I can go deeper on it for you. So it's really important that if you have any challenges, if you got anything like you're like, I want more clarity on this, or Michael, can you go a little bit deeper on this particular subject? Then by all means, just throw the question in there, and we'll go from there. You can't see who I am. Is that you, Albert? No, I can't see it. It's a permission thing. So with the software that I'm using, you have to somehow give it permission. I'm not sure how it works on your side, but no, I can't see who you are. So just put your name in after one of the comments if you want me to know who it is that's commenting. Otherwise, I'm sorry, guys, I can't see the names. Like Lisa, for example, somehow was able to show me who she was. She somehow gave permission to go from that point. So anyway, without further ado, you guys, I want to jump in here, and I just want to say a couple quick things. So, oh, Dan, hey, buddy. Welcome. Hey, Dan, welcome, my friend. Welcome to the Zoom. Or welcome to the live, I should say. It's not Zoom. It's not Zoom. It's live. Live on Facebook. Live on YouTube. Live. Welcome to the show, my friend. As I said, if you guys have any questions as we dive deep into these subjects, please hit me up with those. Because the fact of the matter is that we are heading towards the end of 2023. And if you haven't hit your business goals yet, then after this particular call, you're going to be armed with some information. Okay? Information is not power. Information applied, information taken action upon is power. Can we all agree on that? Right? Just because you have info doesn't mean you're going to get great results. You got to put that info to work for you. You got to make it happen. So with that in mind, we're going to dive into some subjects and some topics today that are going to definitely help you improve your marketing and improve your results. But you've got to do the work, my friends. You've got to do the heavy lifting. Yeah. On Facebook here, we're getting 100%. Absolutely. So you've got to do that work. And the great thing is that none of this is complicated. Okay. None of this is really hard. Work is work. You get to choose whether you want it to be hard work or just easy work. Work is work. Talking to a buddy of mine, Amos, he's building this incredible thing called Empower TV, and I'm interviewing him next week on my show here. And I mean, we're talking about the effort that it's taking to build this empowering other people's television network. Like, he really wants to build this media company that empowers other people, and it's amazing. His job what he's doing is incredible. And he says it's taken a lot of work, a lot of hard work. And I'm like, well, work can be hard or it can be easy. The work is the work, right? So you're going to have to put effort in no matter what. And I think we can all agree here, right, that great things take effort. They take effort to do. They take investment of your energy, your focus, your time, your creativity, your resources to do, right? So if great things take effort, then the fact of the matter, my friend, is that if you want to accomplish amazing stuff, then we got to be prepared to put in the work. And so everything that I'm going to cover today, yeah, it's going to challenge you, some of it. Some of it you're not going to like. Some of it you're going to be like, I don't want to do that kind of thing. But if you want to build a great, phenomenal business that transforms the lives of other people, that really helps move the needle for others, because that's what entrepreneurship to me is about. It's about solving problems, right? So if you really want to do that, if you want to get out there and solve problems for people, then it's going to take you putting in a little elbow grease. Can we get a thumbs up on that one for anybody here watching on the live? And if you're watching the live, please put a 1 in the comment section for me. Please put a 1 in the comment section. So just like so, put a 1 in the comment section. And if you are watching a replay, so if you're watching this later on today or tomorrow, whatever this is, then put a 2 into the comment section for me. Perfect. We got some 1s popping in. That is fantastic. Thank you. Okay. So let's dive into the questions then, shall we? Let's dive into the questions. So the first one we have is from a client of mine, Simon. So Simon and I were in what I call a compass call. So we do these basically one-on-one, strategy sessions as they were, but they're about 45 minutes. And I call them compass calls because essentially what we do is we find out where you'd love to be, where you currently are, and we help build you a compass, essentially a series of metrics or ideas that you can keep following to make sure you stay on course. So we call them a compass call. And in this compass call, Simon says, I don't have a marketing budget though. So should I have one? And the fact is that if you don't have a marketing budget, how do you expect other people to get to know you? How do you expect other people to find you? So the simple answer to your question, Simon, is yes. Yes, you should have a marketing budget. Now, a lot of small business owners that I talk to, they don't have marketing budgets. Maybe you're the same. Maybe you don't have a marketing budget. So he was asking the question of like, how much should it be? Like what percentage should it be? And all of that is very market-based, like very industry-based, okay? And depends on your profit margins and a number of things. I'll give you some rough ideas in a minute. But the fact is a marketing budget, my friends, to put it simply, is your investment of today's sale into tomorrow's customer. Okay? A marketing budget is your investment of today's sale, right? So you sell a cup of coffee to your client today, and part of that revenue from the cup of coffee needs to go towards selling the cup of coffee to a new client tomorrow. Does that make sense? So that's what a marketing budget is. It's a section of your existing revenue invested and devoted to your next day's revenue. That's what this is about. And you can really have 2 elements to your marketing budget. Okay, there's only 2 resources you get to use to grow anything. Time, so hard work, blood, sweat, tears, as it were, elbow grease, okay, whatever you want to call it, time, okay, and money. Time, money, that's it. You have 2 resources. And so as you're growing your company, I encourage people to move from investing their time into their marketing to investing their dollars into their marketing. Because great marketing should flip the script on what your business challenges are. Great marketing should help you go from having a cash flow problem to having a labor problem. Okay? In my businesses right now, we don't have a cash flow challenge. Okay, we have a labor challenge. In other words, we got more clients than we know what to do with. Okay, our marketing worked really, really well. We invested lots of dollars in, lots of resources, did really well. And now we're over to this side and we are going, okay, we've got more clients than we can handle right now. Our workload is too high or is high compared to what team we've got. So if your marketing is working, you should shift from having a cash flow challenge to having a labor challenge. Okay, and so if you don't have a marketing budget today, I would encourage you. You should know what are the differences between profit and revenue in your company. And just to put really simply, you guys, right, to answer Simon's question here, revenue is how much money you collect. Profit is how much money after all your expenses you keep. That's how simple this is. Okay. You can get more granular with it for sure. But for our intents and purposes, your profit is how much you're keeping after you pay to turn the lights on and your internet access and your telephone and your cost of goods delivered or cost of services delivered, your all the different things that add up, everything else. That's how much you have left. Now, in that space, okay, in that area, that's what you call your margin. So, for example, if you sell a product for $100 and it costs you $50, okay, to build the product, get the product, deliver the product, the client's got the product, everything else, everything all in, including your, lights on, everything else, you're basically, you have $50 left over, then you've got a $50 margin or a 50% margin in that particular case. So you want to earmark a chunk of that margin to going to tomorrow's customer. So you want to dedicate $10, aka 10%, $20, aka 20%. How much of the percentage do you want to dedicate to tomorrow's client? And that becomes what your marketing budget is. Okay. To me, I like to work with budgets that are percentages when you're a small business, not necessarily specific numbers. Once you get into the multiple millions of dollars sold on an annual basis or further, the game shifts a little bit depending on your industry. So it changes. But for now, if you're here in this call, then I'm imagining you haven't hit the 7-figure mark yet. Okay, we're going to get you there, but you haven't hit it yet, which is fine. That just means that you need to earmark a percentage of every sale. So you sell $1,000 today, you should dedicate a certain percentage of that to your sales tomorrow. And that becomes your budget for marketing. And that goes into hiring agencies like myself. That goes into developing content strategy. That goes into buying ads. That goes into creative, being, images, video, audio, whatever it is that you want to do. All of that becomes part of your marketing budget. Okay. So to answer Simon's question, you don't have a marketing budget, and should I have one? The answer is absolutely yes, you should have a marketing budget. And the fact of the matter is that you should base your marketing budget when you're a small business on a percentage of your revenue that you are willing to dedicate to the next sale. And if you say, well, I don't have any, then you need to find some. Okay. And that goes to Simon's second question here. All right, which I'm going to get to in just a sec. But does anybody have any questions about that? Okay, does anybody have any questions about budgeting or, the idea behind how to carve out a marketing budget when you don't have an existing one? I'll wait and see if anyone's got any questions about that from our live audience here. And the fact of the matter, you guys, is that if you're building a business right now, you don't necessarily have a budget for these things. Like, my brick and mortar company, we're well over 7 figures. So we've got specific budgets for things, right? I dedicate anywhere between 4 and 5%, pardon me, of my budget to marketing. So that's 40, 50,000 plus every single year to marketing. If you're not there yet, then I would just dedicate the percentage. If I sell $1,000 today and I want to dedicate 10%, then that's $100 I'm dedicating to tomorrow's marketing. Make sense? Okay. So Simon then asked the follow-up question. How do I find more money for marketing? Okay, so we all agree on the definitions here. Revenue is how much you collect from the sale of whatever you're selling. Okay? You sell shoes and you sell $1,000 today worth of shoes, or $2,000 a day, or $3,000 or $10,000, whatever it is. That's your revenue for the day. Okay? Profit is how much of that revenue you have left after you've paid everything else. That's your net profit, as it were. We're not going to get into gross profit and those types of things. That's for a different conversation. But your net profit is what you got left. So how do you increase your net profit so you can build a better marketing budget? That's the question. How do you do that? How do you find more money for marketing? And there's really only 3 things you can do, you guys. So for those who are watching live, here's the trick. There's only 3 things. 3 things. That's it. 3 different levers or buttons, whatever you want to call them, you could push pull, twist, whatever, to change how to create more money. It's just isn't that great? There's just 3. This doesn't have to be complicated. Number 1 thing, okay, you want some more profit to work with? Just raise your prices. I know that sounds crazy. And I was just literally like 20 minutes ago, just before we did this live, having a conversation with my operations manager here at Just About Pets about how we had to tweak some of our prices based on XYZ, right? Just raise your prices. And some people say to me, oh, well, I just don't want to raise my price arbitrarily. So I would suggest, okay, well then raise your prices by increasing value a little bit. Raise your prices by tweaking the value that you're offering. There are low cost or zero cost things that we can include in our offers, that we can include in our transactions for our clients that literally cost us $0 or almost nothing to deliver, but have really good margins for us, and we can increase our pricing. The world is full of businesses making massive profit on something that costs them almost nothing. We pay how many hundreds of dollars a month for these things? Okay. The amount of money they make per line is crazy. It costs almost nothing, right? To add another phone number, to add another line. It costs nothing for the company, right? To add a fax line or whatever to my company, or, a second telephone line to Just About Pets. But the fact of the matter is they're going to charge me $50 for it. They're going to charge me $40 for it. So what can you do? What can you add in that increases the value to the client, but also improves pricing? And the other thing is that, when was the last time you raised your prices? Most of the clients that I talk to, I'll be really frank, you guys, it's sometimes been years since they've raised their prices. Years. Inflation's gobbled away at them, right? All these different things have sapped away their margin. We had to increase our pricing back in the summer of this past year, in my brick and mortar company, because all these other things were eating away at our profitability and it was hurting us. So the fact is if you want to stay in business, you've got to keep improving your pricing. And that means you got to raise them, continue to add value in small ways if you want to. But that's spot number 1. Raise your prices, because when you raise your prices, you improve the value you can deliver to your clients. So one of the quickest ways to improve profit is to simply raise your prices. Done. Okay. One of the best ways we did this in the store is we added teeth brushing to the dog grooming, right here at Just About Pets. We had teeth brushing for that. So it improved. We increased the value that we were charging for our salon, and it basically cost me almost nothing. It's almost nothing to do the teeth brushing, but we improved our value for the salon. Huge difference. Okay. Next thing you could do, lower your costs. Lower your costs. So improve your prices, raise your prices, but also find ways to lower your costs. Depending on what industry you're in, you might be able to buy at an advantage, right? So maybe you can buy larger quantities at a better price. Maybe you can pay sooner. This often happens. You can pay right away and get a better price. Maybe you can pay by check or e-transfer and not have to incur a 3.5% credit card charge or whatever, right? There's all sorts of ways of saving you some margin here and there. When we shifted at the pet business here, we were doing about $500,000 in retail. When we shifted from paying 30 days out or whatever to paying within 2 weeks, we got a better margin, or we got a better price point from almost all of our suppliers. We're talking 2.5 or 3%, right? So quick math. Let me pull up my calculator here off the top of my head. 500,000 times 0.25, right, is $12,500. So we found an extra 12.5 to 10, somewhere in that range, worth of profit from our retail side of things, because we changed how we paid people. We had a good enough cash flow that we could pay within 2 weeks. We did that, changed everything for us, right? Or added an extra $10,000, $10,000 in profit to the company. Profit. Okay. So where can you find ways of reducing your costs? Where can you find ways of doing that? And that leads me to the third thing. So raise prices, reduce costs, right? Or call your credit card company, see if they'll reduce the rate. See if your phone company will reduce your pricing, right? There's lots of ways you can wiggle through this stuff. So reduce pricing. The third thing, find efficiencies. This is similar to reducing your pricing, okay, or reducing your cost, I should say. But find efficiencies, find ways of delivering, Simon, what it is that you're doing so that there's more margin to grow to the next sale. For example, right, we do landing page design and design for our clients and stuff like that. For me to do that, for me to go in and do the graphics and do the page layouts and the design and to add in all those elements and to do all the writing, it's a lot of work, right? It's a lot of work. And the fact of the matter is it's an inefficient way of using my time. Now, when I was growing my company originally, I had to do this work. I didn't have the resources to go out and find somebody else. But very quickly, I realized that there are people who are better and more efficient at design than I am. There are people who are more effective at using our BAMO software than even I am to lay some of this stuff out. And if I encourage or if I bring them into my company, they can do things more efficiently than I can, right? And I can reduce some of those costs. I can change some of those costs in my own company so that it allows me to have a budget to go out and find another client, to go out and service another client. So where can you find efficiencies? You can do this with software automations. And don't get me into the AI thing for video editing. Like some of that stuff just doesn't work. It's not there yet, but there are some ways to use it. But you can do it within systems and automations. You can do it in hiring help and using economies of scale and finding people from other countries that are great at something at a reduced price point. There's ways of getting more efficient or just simply building systems in your own company and handing that system to somebody else saying, do this. Follow this structure and you do it at $25 an hour, right? Because I feel like I'm worth $100 an hour, or I'm worth $50 an hour, or I'm worth $500 an hour. And this is a $25 an hour job. And if I systemize it, I can have somebody else do it. So those are the three levers, my friends, to find the money for a marketing budget. Okay? Raise your prices, reduce your costs, and find efficiencies. That's really it. That's really it. Those are the three things. So when you break down what it is you're doing, okay, what it is you're looking at as a business owner and see what you got in front of you, how can you find ways of doing those, one of or all three of those things? And from there, Simon, you can create your marketing budget. Great questions, buddy. Okay, anything from the audience right now? Anybody have any questions about that stuff? Was that good value? Give me a thumbs up or put put the letter V into the comment section if you got some good value out of that. Type a V into the comment section for value, if that was helpful. Type a V if you got some value out of that, my friends. Okay. We got some V's coming in. Perfect. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Okay. Question number 3. So we got a few V's coming in. Perfect. Question number 3 is from Mary. So Mary, she sent me a message saying that her days keep slipping away from her. How can she get more control over them and focus? So as a creative entrepreneur, your energy, your focus is going to be either your secret weapon, your superpower, or it's going to be the thing that undoes you. Just going to be totally frank. Especially when you are a small business owner. Because the grass feels always greener, and shiny object syndrome, or squirrel syndrome, as they call it, is a real thing. And it's easy, especially when you're building an online company. When you want to build something where you're attracting leads online, doing a lot of business online like I do with my consulting company, right? It is easy to get distracted and pull down the rabbit hole of social media, email, different marketing tactics, the shiniest new thing that people are doing. It's easy to fall down these rabbit holes. Buy this other course, get this other program, take this other coaching thing. It's easy to do that. It's easy. The hard part is focusing. The hard part is narrowing in and weeding out the distractions, putting those, they put the blinders on the horses so they don't spook for a reason. So they can't see what's going on over here. They can't see what's going on over here. So they stay in a straight line. And that's what you need to do. So Mary, you need to find ways of doing this in your own life. And a few of the things that I've done that have really helped me, I'm going to give you 3 of them here, and you can use these. I have an entire 77 productivity shortcuts little ebook. I think I sell it for like 77 cents from my website. So if you guys want to pop over there and check it out, you can. It's really great. I pulled from all these gurus and everything else a whole bunch of different productivity strategies, tactics, hacks, tips and tricks. And I pulled from this. Oh my goodness. The trips. Yeah, I tripped as usual. I pulled from all these different gurus that I watched and worked with and built this sort of long list of 77 different ideas. But here's 3 that I use a lot. And I kind of thought about this, Mary. So these are the ones that I feel have moved the needle the most for me in my last 5-6 years of life, where my businesses have sort of taken their big leap of progress. So first off, time chunking. And for those who have been friends of mine or watching me before, I've said this before. I like to chunk my time. I like to take gaps and do a specific thing. So Friday mornings for me, okay, they're often spent with the accounting brain on. So I do this live hit now. Then I spend an hour and a half to 2 hours reviewing financial stuff for both my companies, right? So I time chunk things in my schedule. Okay. So I have big where I can go deep on a thing. If I'm working on a client, right, I'm working on a program for them or a project for them, I normally section off a significant chunk of time, hour and a half, 2 hours, where I'm focusing on that particular client. So I time chunk. I do this for recording, right? As you guys probably know, I put out a lot of content. So we put out, we're doing right now about 55 to 60 pieces of content a week. And for some people, that's not a lot. Some people, that's a day. For our media agency, we're ramping up into a lot more, but that's where we're at right now. So that's about, what is that? 52 times 60. That's about 3,000 pieces of content a year. That's what we're doing right now. And we'll ramp up beyond that too. But in order to do that, I have to chunk out time in my schedule. And this isn't on a weekly basis. This is normally bi-weekly for me, where I film a whole bunch of stuff. I record a whole bunch of short content and everything else. So time chunking is one of the ways, Mary, in which I can get more control and focus and don't allow other things to seep into that chunk of time. Number 2, delegate. I know that might seem obvious, but people don't delegate properly. A lot of people delegate and then watch over the shoulder of the person they've delegated to. What are you doing? What are you doing? How is that going? How did that work? Right? They're not really delegating. They delegated a project, now they're watching the other person do it. Now they're supervising. So don't be a supervisor, be a delegator. And in order to do that, you have to systemize some of your genius. You've got to write down and give structure to some of the things that you're great at, that you can have somebody else follow your system and do. One of the best things I've ever done is learn how to delegate. And I use Loom, Loom, a lot. I use Loom a lot. My internal team can stand testament to this. I use Loom a ton. And what I mean by that is it's a video recording where I can record my screen. So, and it's 5 minutes or less. It's a free tool to use. And I quickly Loom instructions over to my team and delegate it. I do it every day, many times a day, if I need something done and I don't have a system already in place for it. Okay. So delegation. And if you find yourself having to delegate the same things over and over again, that's when you systemize, right? Isha, my assistant, she's very accustomed now to building standard operating procedures. And I go, hey, Isha, we need an SOP for this. And she builds this beautiful little SOP graphic. And we hand that over to the person who now has to do it so they can understand the steps that we follow. Okay, so delegation. Third thing, and this is a steal from my radio days and a steal from hotels. And it might be like going, how do those two things connect? How do radios and hotels go together? The do not disturb sign. That's right. So one of the best things I ever did was I have a sign on my office door right here that says do not disturb. And not only when I'm filming like this right now, where I clearly don't want to be disturbed, but even if I'm diving deep on a topic, like if I'm deep in research, right? If I'm wanting to not be disturbed so I can focus my creativity on something, then I'll put the do not disturb sign up on my office door. And that tells everybody, right? This is not a time to walk into Michael's office. Barring as a fire in the building, not to get that. So find your do not disturb times and put out a sign. If that means that you're working from home and you're at your kitchen table and you build a little do not disturb sign and you're like, here we go, folks, propped it up. Boom. There we go. My do not disturb sign is out. Right? If that's what it takes, then that's what it takes. But Mary, you have to signify, I am not available for frivolous, distracting conversation right now. I am specifically only available for my time to dedicate to what I'm getting done. Or else these projects wane. They keep going. Right? Something that should take you 2 or 3 days is now into 2 or 3 weeks. And then it's a month. And then it's 2 or 3 months. And we get so behind. See, what I want to get through to Mary and anybody else watching this is that to be an entrepreneur and to build business, you have to make informed decisions. You have to make them at speed. And you have to dedicate yourself to bringing that idea, that decision over the finish line in an efficient manner. And you stack those wins on top of those wins. You know, we launch more product. We launch more things. There's more decisions that I make in my businesses over the course of a week than a lot of small business owners make in the course of a month or two. Because I gather information quickly, we assess the information as a team, we make our decisions, and we move forward, right? And we're just bam, ba-bam, ba-bam. And that's how we do it. So putting up a do not disturb sign allows you to really put the signage up and say, look, this is a time where I'm focusing on this other thing and I'm not to be disturbed by anybody else. And you'll find, Mary, that over time you start to develop these habits of being able to zero in and focus for 1 hour chunks, 90-minute chunks, 2 hour chunks, whatever that is, where the rest of the world kind of fades away and you can focus on the thing. But it's a practice habit. Okay? It's a practiced habit. But those are the 3 things that have really helped me a ton. Time chunking, delegation with systems, and then the third one is, pardon me, a do not disturb sign. A do not disturb sign, and then dedicating myself to that chunk of time there. Okay, cool. Thank you for your question, Mary. Does anybody have any questions regarding productivity or anything like that? Any other tips they want to share that they have found that have been really, really valuable for them when it comes to being productive, and focused? And if you don't, that's cool. That's totally cool. We will get to our 4th question in just a moment here. Just take a look here. No, so far it looks like everyone's getting some good value. Okay, excellent. So I had this question, and I actually got it last week from a client who were building an amazing, like a membership site, and we're redoing her whole website, and we're all hosting it inside our Software Bama, which is a really cool project. And we're kind of we're laying out an entire strategy for her. And she had this question. We were talking about the word brand. And Debbie said to me, she's like, what does brand really mean? Like, what are you talking about? And I asked her, I said, well, what do you think brand means? And she started to talk to me about colors and aesthetics and what type of, wording she wanted to use for her catchphrase or her her slogan. And I just I giggled a little bit. And she's like, well, what are you laughing for? And I said, well, the fact is none of those things none of them are meaning your brand. Somewhere along the line, my friends, we have married 2 different ideas. The logo that we use and the slogan that we have as our catchphrase or whatever with the word brand. But that's not what a brand really is. When you talk about branding, okay, a brand, quite simply, is what other people say about you, say about your company when you're not in the space. That's what a brand really is. Or even when you're in the space, okay? What do people describe your company as? What do they say you stand for? What do they say you do? And it answers these three really sort of fundamental questions, right? Oh, yes. Irene, talking about we're going back to the productivity thing for a moment here. Irene says, such good advice for people who are working from home. It's important to not let distractions of home interrupt you when you're working on a project. Yes, absolutely, Irene. Completely agree with you. Yes, yes, yes. It is, it's amazing how easy it is, especially when you got little kids. Like I've got little kids, right? They're going to pull at your attention all the time. But they know in daddy's home office, okay, I don't have a do not disturb sign for my home office. I should have one. But they know that when daddy's working, and they don't always like it, but they do understand it. So thank you for your comment, Irene. Love it. But let's get back to Debbie's question here. What does brand really mean? So the fact is that a brand should answer three fundamental questions. Okay. And if you're good at it, if your brand is doing what it's supposed to do, then your clients, your team, the community around your business will be able to express the answer to those three questions. Those three questions are who you serve, what you do for them, and why you do it. That's it. Who, what, why. Who, what, why. That's what your brand is. Your brand is not your logo. Okay? Like your brand is not, oh, I've got a Tim Hortons cup. Okay? This is not Tim Hortons brand. It's just their logo. It's just their color scheme. Do we associate it with Tim Hortons? Absolutely we do. But Tim Hortons brand is Canadiana. It's hockey. It's community, right? It's being a part of your everyday life as a Canadian. It's wholesome family, right? That's what Tim Hortons brand is. Everything else is just a logo. Everything else is just a logo, right? And so when you're thinking about your brand, the question to ask yourself is quite simply, who am I serving? What am I doing for them, or aka how am I serving them? Like what's the transformation that my product or service offers? And why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Right? Irene's got another great little ad here. Let me just jump into there. And if you got any questions about that, please fire them into the chat box. I am taking these right now. Irene says, I heard something really interesting on some TIR training I did this morning. That's thinking into results from the Proctor Gallagher Institute, for anybody who doesn't know what TIR is. It was a lesson on self-image and the fact that we have an inner self-image and the self-image we portray to others. What was interesting, the concept was that this external self-image is your brand. Yeah, you bet it is. Right? So when you think about a company, the company's brand is the external image or self-image that the company represents. So, Irene, you're absolutely right. The fact is that your brand, your individual brand as a person, is your expression of your personal self-image outwardly. Okay, and but you include when you think about business, you include into that the who you want to serve and what you're going to do to change their lives. And that's really what a brand is. So when we got down to it on a granular level with Debbie, she was realizing, oh, okay, now I'm starting to understand this. Now I'm starting to get it. The fact is that who I want to serve, right? She's serving young men in the military, helping them get their finances organized. She's like, that all my branding has to speak to them. And I'm like, yes. So if you want to pick your logos or your color schemes or your slogans or everything else, you have to know who you're serving, who your audience is, to flesh out what your brand is all about. But essentially, your brand is who, what, why. That's what it is. And it's just that simple to answer those questions. And my encouragement to you watching this today is to get tight on that. right? Get tight on who you want to take care of. Because, my friends, we only have a limited amount of time. There's only so much space that a prospect is going to give us to be influenced, to allow us the opportunity to show them what we do and to have them say yes. There's only so much space. And if we dilute our messaging, if we dilute our process and our offers to being applicable to anybody and everybody, the fact is that the real people that we would love to help, they will never raise their hand because they don't feel like who we're talking to is them. When it turns out it is them, we just haven't narrowed our message down tight enough. Talking to a lady yesterday, Giovanna, we're sitting there, we're in this one-on-one chat. And she was telling me, literally, and I have this conversation all the time with coaches and consultants, especially, saying they want to broaden their field. They want to be able to help anybody. I'm like, stop doing that. The fact is, if you want to help anybody and everybody, you are helping no one. McDonald's does not pretend to be the keg. Okay? Tim Hortons does not pretend to be Starbucks. You can't serve the entire community and do it well. I'm not saying you can't sell to anybody. Tim Hortons will happily sell me a coffee when I frankly would often go to Starbucks instead. But the fact of the matter is that Tim Hortons and Starbucks are marketing. They're putting out their brand and their messaging to two completely different avatars of people. And to narrow it down, to really get effective at what you want to do. Like even Irene, who's on here right now, and she had these great comments, right? Irene has phenomenal product that she offers people. The fact is Irene shouldn't be offering it to anybody and everybody with her marketing, and she knows this. She should narrow in, really zero in on specific products and the specific challenges those products solve for a person who's really in pain or suffering from that particular problem. So, and I get heated about this, you guys. I get on my soapbox about it because I'm like, I'm absolutely tired of small business owners thinking that if they broaden their reach, they'll actually reach more people, when that's the complete opposite. People want to know, like, and trust you. In fact, I've got a whole course coming out in the new year about how to build the know, like, and trust factor. I've been working on it for a little while. It's amazing. You're going to love it. But people want to know, like, and trust you. In order to know you, you have to get out there. In order to like you, you have to have a personality. You can't be boring or bland and have zero things to say. Okay? Know you, you got to get out there. You got to be doing media. You got to be broadening your reach. You got to be doing socials. You got to have a media team or a media element to your company. Invest in your marketing. They got to like you, which means you got to stand for something. You got to deliver a value. You've got to have some sort of personality. But in order to trust you, they have to know what you're about. Right? Nobody trusts the person. I had a sales call the other day. This guy was from Grant Cardone's office, of all places. And they're calling me. They want me to buy some product. And this is what I'm getting at. The initial product they wanted me to buy was X. I'm like, yeah, I'm not really into X. You know, they want to help me sell $10 million next year with my retail brick and mortar company. I'm like, you guys have no idea what you're talking about. You know anything about retail sales, right? They didn't know anything about it. Yeah, we could have a whole department of people on the phone. I'm like, you don't sell dog food on the phone. Like, you guys don't. Oh, okay. What about this product? Blah, 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 about developing your team to be able to do this. And you want to have Grant Cardone come and speak to your office. And it's like, I'm not doing that. Okay, well, what about this product? How about this one? And it was like, it's like you're the drug pusher on the corner, right? And this is Grant Cardone. I mean, this guy's a master of sales, but his guys are just busy pitching me whatever. Oh, we got a problem, we got a pill. You got a problem, we got a pill. You got a problem, we got a pill. It's like, because their avatar was so broad for what they're selling, right? He's just trying to find a slot to insert me into. Do I feel like I trust this guy? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because they're just trying to find a product for me to buy. They want to get off the call with a credit card number. That's their job. Do I trust this guy? Absolutely not. Would I want my people to ever sell like that? Absolutely not. And I think Grant Cardone's pretty awesome, to be honest, a lot of the time. But that process completely embarrassed them for me. Because the guy was just going to try and hawk anything possible. So you want to narrow in who you serve and how you serve them, and that's what branding is really all about. And when you do that, your ideal client, they're going to come out of the woodwork for you. They'll raise their hand and say, oh my gosh, Irene, I could really use your solutions. Albert, I really, really need your coaching, right? Lisa, I need your financial guidance. They're going to say that because you've zeroed in who you're speaking to, and you're literally solving the problems and building the trust bridge to get there, right? Bridge has 3 pillars. They got to know you, got to like you, then they got to trust you. Boom, boom, boom. Bridge the gap to get there. So any thoughts about that from the audience today, you guys? I'm sorry, I got a bit of a soapbox moment there at the end, but I just think it's really, really important. And I hope you got great value out of that, that we were there. Thank you for all those who contributed to the live today. If you got some good value, put a V in that comment section. Put the letter V in the comment section. Put a V. If you got some value today, put a V. And if anybody has any questions regarding what it is we talked about today, Irene says V. There we go. Perfect. Thank you, Irene. If anybody's got any questions, please feel free to fire them over to us. And you guys, we got, 8 weeks left of this year? 8-9 weeks left? Let's go make a difference. Huh? Let's you and me go make a difference. Let's go make some money. Let's go change some people's lives. Let's go make a big difference. Okay? Because that's what's going to move the needle, my friends, is you getting out there, making yourself available, building that know, like, and trust factor. And if you want any help with your content stuff, Irene says, yes, absolutely. Right? If you need any service or need any help, you guys, please reach out to us. Once again, thankyouMediaGroup.com is my website. You can reach us right there. And it has been an honor and a privilege to be here with you, my friends. I have been Michael Bridgman. You have been awesome. This has been another episode of the Marketing Wizards Inner Circle Friday morning Q&A. And I will see you next week, next Wednesday in the afternoon. I've got my great interview with Amos Bracewell. Very cool guy. So you'll see all about what Empower TV is doing. And then we shall do another Friday morning as well. Okay. And for BAMO users, quick shout out to anybody using the BAMO software, our amazing all-in-one marketing, sales, and CRM software. If you're using that, then don't forget, this coming Monday is our Building BAMO Zoom call, where we jump on and we help you build amazing stuff using this incredible software. So if you're a BAMO user, please remember to watch out for that and the emails regarding it. Okay, thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Much love from me to you guys. Ciao for now.